Hi grade 2s, welcome to your next lesson of music. Today we have a very interesting piece, one that doesn't have a lot going on in regards to rhythm, but one that has a lot going on in regards to all the notes. So this is going to be the longest piece you've ever done so far, so it's going to be a fun one. It's going to need a lot of practice and a lot of diligence. So if you want to follow along with an actual sheet, to make sure you open your Recorder Excellence, piece number 85. You'll see Streets of Laredo. So let's get straight into it so that we can get this piece as quickly as possible. So let's start off by saying the rhythm. I'm going to do a count of 2 and then we go. 1, 2. Ta, 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 ah, ta, 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 ah. So you see what I mean? Not the hardest in terms of rhythm. It's just a very basic ta, ta rhythm. All we have are, the only difference is when we have our 2 half notes. Ta, ah, ta, ah. So pretty straightforward, but it's the notes that want to get good. So let's zoom in and let's get started with this piece. So we start up with our first note, which is actually our first 2 notes, which is a high D. So let's play that after a count of 2. High D. 1, 2. Alright, easy. Then we're going to descend. So make sure you notice the patterns, okay? We're going to go down, big down, high up. Alright? So we're going to go D, C, B, going downwards. Let's go for that. 3, on this second bar. 3, go. Again. Then we go back up to C, D, C. So let's try C, D, C in bar 3. 3, go. Again. Bar 2 and bar 3, from high D, down to B, come back up to D, back to C. 3, go. Let's put bar 1 until bar 3. 2, 1, 2. Let's keep going down. So from that D, we're going to go to C, B, A, G. So let's try it B, A, G. 2, 3. Again. Let's go from high D up until G. 2, 3. Alright, now let's take it to our F sharp. So remember, this one doesn't have a sharp over here, but you can also write the sharp in front of the note. So they have an F sharp, then we go to high D, high D. So a very low note to 2 high notes. So F sharp, remember, cover the top 3 notes and the bottom 2 right here. The one on the bottom of the tail of the recorder doesn't have anything. So 3, 2. You should know your F sharp. So let's go F sharp to high D, high D. 3, go. Again. Let's take it from the first bar up until there. 1, 2. One more time. And then immediately we come back to this G and watch what's going to happen. We're going to go from G down to F sharp and we're just going to keep ascending up until we get to that C. So G, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Let's take it from bar number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is bar number 6. 1, 2, 3. G, F sharp, G. Let's go. Let's keep going. A, B, C, go. Again. Bar 6 and bar 7. 3, go. Then we come back down, B, A, G. Once again, we're going up, coming down. So let's try it, B, A, G. 3, go. Again. Bar 6 up until bar 8. 2, 3. So now let's go to the next bar, bar number 9. We have a A and then a high D. Let's go for it. 1, 2, 3. All right, again, go. Now, I want you to notice how the pattern repeats itself. So right over here, so we hold this A for 2 beats, then we go to that D. This pattern over here, D, D, C, B, so we're going down to that B, coming back up to the C, to a high D, to a C. It repeats over here. So D, D, C, B, C, D, C. D, D, C, B, C, D, C. Then as we have a B, A, G over there, we keep on going. B, A, G. We have our F sharp that was over here to our 2 high Ds that are over here, 2 high Ds. Then we have again our G, F sharp, G, which is over here, G, F sharp, G. So we're literally repeating everything after this breath mark. And so let's just try everything from this breath mark onwards, okay? So let's go from this high D up until this C. So let's go from all the notes from our breath mark, from this D, all the way to that C. 1, 2, 3. So do you see how it repeats itself? Right over here, we have our D going down to that C. So let's take it from that breath mark over here, all the way from that high D, those 2 high Ds, up until this B, A, G, which is the exact same as this B, A, G over here. So we're taking it from the breath mark down to over here. Ready? 1, 2. All right. Now let's try and keep on going. So we're going to take it from our F sharp to our D, D. Same thing, we have here, F sharp, D, D. Then we're going to go G, F sharp, G, which is G, F sharp, G, to our A, B, C, which is A, B, C. And then here, in this second last bar, is where things change. So let's go from this breath mark all the way up until here. And it's going to be the exact same thing that we had from bar 1 up until bar 9. So let's go for it from that breath mark. After a count of 2. 1, 2. All right, up until there. All right, let's take it from the beginning of the piece up until this bar over here, before we get to that second last bar. So up until this, A, B, C, from the beginning, after a count of 2. Nice and slow. 1, 2. So I continue to play those because it's pretty easy. What we have is a B, F sharp, and hold that G for 2 beats. Don't hold it for 3 or 4, 2 beats because it's a half note. So let's go from B, F sharp, and finish on G for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3. Again. Let's take it from this breath mark over here, after a count of 2, to that high D. 1, 2. All right, let's take it from the beginning, one time at a nice slow pace, and then a bit quicker, and then quickest. All right, 1, 2. Now let's take it a little bit quicker. 1, 2. Now remember, for those two F sharps, don't play. It's not a T-T, it's a ta-ta-ta-a. Alright, so some people will end up playing T-T. That's the wrong rhythm. It has to be ta-ta, not T-T-ta. Alright, now let's try it at full speed. This is going to be a bit quick. 1, 2. Alright, grade 2s, now that is Streets of Laredo. Not the hardest in terms of rhythm, but it needs you to read your music. If you try and memorize this, you're probably going to get lost very quickly and it will be very obvious. So make sure you read it, you know what you're reading, you know where you are, so you don't get lost. This is a very good piece to practice your reading because it's not a hard rhythm, just a lot of tas, 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 but we're literally going up and down everywhere. The only thing we don't have here is a dangling D and an E note. But we have every other thing. So that's it. Make sure you practice hard and watch the next video for the instructions for what I'd want you to do for your end of term assessment. Happy practicing, grade 2s.